If you know me on Instagram, my name is Francis Von Louis. If you know me from Beamer forums, then you know me as E36 Hater. And don't be fooled though, I do not hate E36s, quite the opposite, I actually love them. Or else I wouldn't have had this car since 2010. This is my, if you know me, then you know my car. This is my 1995 325i. It makes over 1100 at the tire, and it is also all-wheel drive. I'm going to jump into a little bit on the car, and then I want to just, leave this as an open first video where you guys can ask me questions about the setups. Further videos are going to include stuff in my shop, Southside Motorsports, where I do have a dyno, I have an engine room, and I have a few lifts where I do work on cars. By cars I mean pretty much E36s. I do dabble in some other cars also, but my specialty are E36s. And like any man's specialty, if you are a jack of all trades, you are a master of none. So jump into the car a little bit. As you can see, we got a nice big turbo right here. This is a Pulsar 6775 turbo. I run a custom turbo manifold that runs dual 44mm wastegates and external dumps, of course. A 3.5-inch downpipe that right after the cylinder head will flare to a 4-inch downpipe, and then it's a full 4-inch straight through exhaust. Coming through, we have 3-inch intercooler piping on this side, going to a 5-inch intercooler core, and then 4-inch intercooler piping on this side that allows the air to expand as it cools and gets more dense. Got a blow-off valve, powder-coated valve cover. The engine is an M52B28. If you know anything about Turbo E36s, there are many different ways to make a lot of power. And this is my favorite way to make power. Some people will tell you you need an S52 crank. Some people will tell you need an S50 crank. I will tell you that if you have an M52 crank, you can also rev your car to 9,200 RPM and, make it happy. So this car revs to it's over 9,000. It's over 9,000. Where she does, runs about 35 pounds of boost. Normally on the street like this is what I run it to. During competition, I'll turn it up to about 45, sometimes 48 pounds of boost. It has a custom intake plenum, and the runners here are from GDM Engineering. It also uses a oil filter relocation kit that will allow you to have a much larger runner and shorter runner, because shorter runners equal high RPM, long runners equals low RPM. I also have a custom radiator. This car also still retains the air conditioning because it's a street car, and everybody knows you don't have a street car with no AC. So it also runs a standalone computer, which is a AMP EFI MS3 Ultimate, and it is a 6-speed with a 335 X-Drive transmission. These transmissions are very strong. I used to run a T56 Magnum in my car, and I will tell you that the GS6 53BZ, which is a 335 XI and I tranny, are some of the most durable transmissions that BMW has made. And it's probably going to make them more expensive, but at this point, people in F80s and other B58 cars, they're swapping N54 transmissions into their cars because BMW noticed that they were over-engineering the transmission and that the transmission was too strong. So they can get away with a weaker transmission. Unfortunately, the end user gets nerfed. But if you were lucky enough to get a 335 transmission, N54 335 transmission, then you were blessed because it's a very strong train. So that's what's in this car. It runs a triple disc clutch that is actually very streetable, full face disc, not the little 725 stuff. And then it has a 3.07 front diff and a 3.15 7 Series rear diff. The car, because these cars never came all-wheel drive, we had to custom mount the subframe to the chassis, square the motor, and custom suspension in the front, and the car uses an E46 X-Drive oil pan. It runs a modified oil pump and oil pickup and baffle system so that we don't get oil starvation. The oil capacity on this car now is about 8 liters, which is it's a good amount of oil. And I always say having more oil is better than having less oil. So the car also runs a custom radiator with -20 AN lines. Coming back on the intake plenum side, we have a Ford Mustang 90mm throttle body here. And then we also run -8 fuel lines, feed and return, a Magna Fuel 750 fuel pump with a booster pump on it. The booster pump is needed because on E85, this car runs E85. On E85, anything over, let's say, 35 pounds of boost, the fuel pump is pretty much at its limit. So the booster pump will pump the voltage to the pump. It's like an amplifier for your fuel pump, and it raises the voltage to the pump. And next thing you know, now that pump can also handle 13 or 1400 horsepower on ethanol at the tires. The car runs ID 2600 injectors, and when we get to the engine over here, we have an M52 B28. Now, my guys in Europe and everywhere else, please don't be confused. In the States, we got lucky where we got iron block M52s. So, where you guys would want to build M50s, this is an M52 because in America, greatest nation on the planet, we get iron blocks. So, we have a 2.8 liter crankshaft, 84mm stroke. I run a off-the-shelf Wiseco piston and a Brian Crower connecting rod. In the cylinder head, we have a factory non-Vanos cylinder head that's been ported by, if anybody knows Jimmy Bacco, he's one of the greats when it comes to the E36s. He has a guy, Newcomer Racing, and he does amazing port work. And this cylinder head has been blessed by him, and let me tell you, it runs very hard. We are making power all the way from 4,500 RPM, where this big turbo comes on, from 4,500 RPM to about 9,000, maybe 9,200 is where the RPM is the torque. Sorry, not the RPM. Where the torque is just flat. It makes 550 foot-pounds from that point, pretty much all the way across with like a slight hump in the middle, and it doesn't nosedive up top. So the entire system is flowing wonderfully, and that power, by the way, is on wastegate, which is about 18-19 pounds. So on those 18-19 pounds, the car makes 818 wheel horse. I have the dyno sheets at the shop. So getting back to the engine. The cylinder head, obviously you can't rev these engines that high without some other work. So we have a few trick things in the bottom end that are needed for this. And then on the cylinder head, we run a set of 275 camshafts, and with Perry Hubling's solid lifter conversion. My car also doesn't use those 10mm 625 head studs. My car uses 11mm S54 head studs, which are ARP 2000s. So this car runs 48 pounds of boost max on ARP 2000s, which we tap the block for it, and cylinder pressure holds very well. The bore size is 84.5. The head gasket is an Athena cut ring, which is, if you are from another platform, you got to think like the Cooper ring style gaskets, where it is essentially a composite gasket, where it is mostly kind of like a paper, and then it has stainless steel rings that sit on the block, and then the head, when you torque the head down, it actually bites into the cylinder head, creating a very good seal. It is not perfect though, because you can blow that also with, you can blow anything up no matter how good it's built. I can tell you that because I've blown up a lot of stuff. So, I've had this car since about 2010, I think it was 2010, 2011, and I did all motor. I did bottom mount turbo making like 500 horsepower. I did top mount turbo making like 6 and change, like 620 wheel, stock engine. then from there it just spiraled out of control. So now it became what you see here today. This is just a little introduction to my car. I will be going more in depth onto it and showing you guys the underneath, as well as the interior, which my car is a full interior, still power leather sports seats, and then I also have a double-din head unit, Android head unit, and it still has the HVAC controls and air conditioning, all that good stuff. So please leave me any comments or questions that you guys might have. Any feedback is good feedback, and I'm looking forward to posting more videos and showing you guys more on what it takes to build a good Turbo E36. So welcome to my channel, and thank you for watching.